Predators. A bunch of intergalactic badasses that search through galaxies, dominating one world after another with their ritual hunts, priding themselves with honor, and existing on a life of code that deems their status from their lives of their worthy kills. Levels of respect earned by the number of trophies and legendary tales of their fallen prey, eventually earning their way up the hierarchy. There are many different stories about the Predators, all originating in some way from the original film, written by Jim and John Thomas. I would love to discuss all of them to you, however, my main focus of this video is the 2018 film, The Predator, directed by Shane Black, who most of you will already know starred in the first film as the character Rick Hawkins, and alongside his longtime friend Fred Decker to help write the screenplay. Now, let's first start with the synopsis given online of the movie, taken from Google and IMDb. From the outer reaches of space to the small town streets of suburbia, the hunt comes home. Now the universe's most lethal hunters are stronger, smarter, and deadlier than ever before, having genetically upgraded themselves with DNA from other species. When a young boy accidentally triggers their return to Earth, only a ragtag crew of ex-soldiers and a disgruntled science teacher can prevent the end of the human race. There have been numerous trailers and posters for The Predator since its first announcement. The first one for me was the showing of a 2010 crucified Youger with the words, "You'll never see him coming." At first I thought this would have been some type of sequel for the 2010 film, but as we got a lot closer to the date, it was a lot more obvious that that is not the case, and the image was only used for promotional use. The main poster now is either the Predator in heat vision, or the head of the Youger in hand of the ultimate Predator. Certain on-set shots from the movie have been released, showing us multiple Predators. Whether this is in the movie or not, we shall only see, but the idea again of having more than one Youger in the hunt has not been something new to the Predator franchise, following the AVP's first film, and again with the PS3 and Xbox 360 game, not to mention the Super Predators. Additional content and also little extra details have been shown in the trailers, such as the Ultimate Predator with its terrifying war cry. If you compare the older trailers to the newer ones, you can see it has been clearly updated and has been injured during battle. Although this may be two completely separate scenes, but the imagery and locations seem to be very close together. Also, when the Ultimate pulls the Youger through the wall and slams him onto a car, you can see that his skin does seem to change colour, presumably acting as a natural armour, and additional spikes to the forehead and body. This is in coalition with the changes to the mythos and lore by Shane Black, who also has given the new appearances of the Predator dogs, or Hellhounds as they are known online. They are completely different. I wonder if this was on purpose to be in coalition with the Ultimate's genetic changes, or maybe if this is just a different breed. But perhaps, maybe, Nolan's theory will be proven right after all, with the differences between dogs and wolves. Either way, they look super badass, and I certainly wouldn't want one trying to hump my leg. There had supposedly been early drafts and scripts that were leaked online, and I must admit, I searched for it myself, to only find that the fan sites and websites had taken it down due to copyright and infringement. And to be fair, I'm rather glad about that. I don't really want to spoil my experiences when I first go and see this movie, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you are thinking the same as well. Some fan sites have stated that the child character in this movie, Rory McKenna, played by Jacob Tremblay, has some form of autism that can allow him to understand different languages in a very short amount of time, and helps him understand the Youger. Whether or not this is true, I'm not really sure, although if anything, I thought the idea wasn't a bad one. I mean, could you imagine having a human that is somehow able to communicate and understand the Youger? That would be rather cool. I think on how they communicate with one another, their speech and expressions would really open up a better understanding to them. Certain novels have indulged in Youger language, but it is very short and didn't give us a lot to work with. Still, the idea of having two predators talking about something so trivial like what they're going to have for breakfast would still be fascinating. I say this as it makes me think about that question and theory. If a lion could speak, could we understand it? In the trailer we see this young boy Rory. He receives a mysterious package containing a predator's biomask and wrist gauntlet. Whilst curious, he opens the package and unrealizingly triggers a homing beacon that activates a predator ship to his location. I would be so happy if a predator mask would land on my doorstep. Who wouldn't, right? There has been a lot of talk online about people's disappointment about having a child as a main role. This is a little understandable, as the main argument was it would affect the movie's rating. However, having a child in a movie will not affect the movie's rating of R. From the latest content shown, there will be plenty of blood and gore to keep us fans amused. For those of you who are avid comic readers like myself, you would already know that there has been different forms of the Predator created before, such as the four-armed Predator. In the comic adaptation of the 2010 movie, Predators Preserve the Game, where the character Royce is equipped with human customized Yaoja equipment and battles the creature with the aid of Isabel. However, this was never actually confirmed if the four-armed Goliath was a genetic mutation or some other type of hybrid. Maybe even a different type of Yaoja altogether. Who knows? I was a little skeptic on the changing to the mythos and lore of the Predator, but however, reading an interview with Shane Black, I can understand his mindset on the matter. As much as many die-hard fans would love to have a movie set on the Predator's homeworld or Yaoja Prime, the only next thing to do in the movie is cultivate the next thing. Black states that time moves on with Earth. The next step is evolution. It's an escalation for the mythology. And this was a quote taken from page 80 of the August 2018 edition of Empire magazine. It was also said on an interview by Shane Black with the cast and crew on the Conan show that the Ultimate not only modifies its DNA from different species, but it was actually raised this way, to adapt and to take the personality traits of other creatures it has battled, therefore imagining newer, different ways for it to kill its prey, such as biting off the head and using more imaginative ways to finish off its enemies. This movie does seem to give us a bit of a nod to us comic book fans. Having the raging bloodlusting predator doing battle with another Yaoja whilst being pursued by a heavily armed team does have the slight similarity of Bad Blood, as well as a continuity of the otherworldly lifeforms program from Predator 2. However, now they are the struggling team known as Project Stargazer, with Will Trigger played by Sterling K. Brown. You know what his job description is, don't you? Project Stargazer, or OWLF, have been desperate to capture and obtain recent evidence of the Yaoja species, as the program is on the ropes due to lack of evidence. For those of you who have read the movie's prequel, Hunters and Hunted, this is pretty much established early on in the novel. There has been numerous trailers for this movie, and honestly, each one has made me more and more excited to see it. By the looks of all the trailers, my idea or theory of the plot will be that a Predator takes out the team of Quinn McKenna, played by the Logan star Boyd Holbrook. He is the only survivor of the attack. Later, in a veteran's hospital, he is questioned, debriefed, and even threatened to keep his mouth shut. Later, he is assisted onto a bus where he meets this whole ragtag team of individuals until the bus is attacked. Using this opportunity, he and the individuals take advantage of this to escape, and then eventually lead into a story of epic battles. Most likely it's going to end on the Predator's ship. I'm not entirely sure as to when the Ultimate Predator will arrive on the film, or even how. Will it have its own ship? Does it pick up the homing beacon? Was it a captive of the other Yaoja? Who knows? That may explain why it's super pissed off with the Yaoja and wants to beat the living crap out of it. Sadly, the more trailers that we get these days, they tend to tell more story of the film before it's actually released. However, until it is, we'll just have to let our imaginations go wild for now. Anyways, that's my basic idea of what's going to happen in the film. It's not come out yet, so only time will tell. And more than likely I'm going to be wrong. But I've got my tickets here waiting with me, and once it is out, I'm going to give you my open and honest opinion.